Welcome back, everyone, to Duels of the Objection. Here's a Spellslingers tournament number 4. Before we get started today, I'd like to give a big thank you and shout out to our organizers and producers. We have Mr. Do Everything Tortuga. We have our organizers, Jokes to Jesus and Quinn83, video creator and editor, Mr. Antler, and we got our game casters, Dusty, Matriculations, Nemesis, and myself, Obus Forum. As you guys know, we are now deeper, or at least past the tip of tournament number 4. We're now in the preliminaries, which means cards can cost between 3 to 7 mana. What does this mean? I'll tell you exactly what this means. This means we can see those 7 mana mythics, Primeval Titans. We got all the Titans. We got that 7 mana, Day of Judgment. And we're now in that new patch with all the updated planeswalkers, where Wizards of the Coast is trying to make each match in this game last about 10 minutes, so we got to see all those planeswalker buffs. So, did you guys also know that the best part of waking up is magic in your well, I don't want to finish that because we don't want to get sued, but actually it's not true. Don't play this game in the morning when you start your day. It actually sets your brain up for distraction. So when you wake up, try your best to concentrate for about 30 minutes. Anyways, life pro tips of the day are finished. Now let's get into round 1. So today's round 1, we have, we got ExBoss on Kiora versus Dusty on Liliana. So let's see how this works. It looks like ExBoss is running the Talarian Academy, which reduces the cost of all artifacts by 1 cost, that's why they're green. And Dusty is rocking the Old Graveyard, which at turn 7, it gives you a chance to draw a random zombie. Could be the mythic, could be even a signature card like Liliana's Goliath. Anyways, first 2 or 3 turns are going to pass, or rather first 1 or 2 turns are going to pass because all cards cost 3 or more, or between 3 or 7. And let's see, so Dusty is on turn 2, and do you blow the mana gem? No. So Dusty uses Diehard Fan, which when it dies, reduces the cost of all zombies in his hand by 1, but he doesn't have any zombies. So let's see. Yeah, so ExBoss answers with the 3 mana 4/4 trample. Now at potentially 4 mana Dusty's, yeah. I think Liliana's Goliath is usually the best 4 mana play, so he decides to blow the mana gem but doesn't attack with the 3/2, which makes sense because Dusty doesn't have any zombies in hand. So ExBoss turn 4. Let's see, do you go maybe Mystic Tomb for draw, or do you go Sylvan Shrine to reach your required 10 mana? Alright, so we get the Sylvan Shrine, and we see a lot of Mystic Tombs, rather we see only 2 Mystic Tombs, and that's about 6 cards worth of draw. So if ExBoss can have 1 more turn of sort of non-aggression from Dusty, maybe we can see those come out too. But as it is, on turn 4, Dusty attacks, and ExBoss decides to block with the fish, so not triggering the Goliath to become a 10/4. Alright. What do you play? So Dusty decides to destroy her own Diehard Fan. And I'm not sure why, because right now there are no zombies in hand, but maybe it's because Dusty wants to combo that Grotesque or recycle Grotesque with the Mausoleum Witch, which gives a creature Relentless. Anyways, on this turn, ExBoss decides to, of course, use the Sylvan Shrine one more time and cast the Elite Forest Ranger and goes for the Plummet or Nuzzle. Yeah, maybe the Plummet, right? Because Nuzzle won't cut it right now. Your 4/4 is just going to die, so there's no point in getting killed. Alright, so ExBoss also casts the Mystic Tomb and draws a Panharmonicon. Dusty now on turn 5, and with 5 mana, yeah, Mausoleum Witch on the 6/6, right? So now we got 2 Relentless guys. They're probably going to both go in. Lots of board pressure on Dusty, and remember, versus ExBoss, which doesn't have 2 mana, which means we don't have Unsummon. We don't have Grudge Match, so we have to sort of block our way to victory with nice, high-powered creatures. But it's hard now with the updated Liliana's passive, which gives a permanent +1/+1 buff for creatures that experience Liliana's passive. So blocks the Liliana's Goliath, becomes a 10/4, and the 6/6 does 10 damage. Just like that, ExBoss is down to 18 life on turn 5 for Dusty. 2 mana left over, but we know there's no traps because cards are 3 to 7 mana. ExBoss now triggers the Talarian Academy again, so that's why all artifacts cost 1 less. Triggers Mystic Tomb, draws 1 more, Spiked Baloth, Behemoth, blah blah blah. 7 mana, maybe go for the Primeval Titan, but maybe you're scared that Dusty would have a Flagrant Foul, so it tries to play more chump blockers that can block, that can block into that 10-4 and still kind of block the 6-6. And I think ExBoss didn't play the Primeval Titan because he's scared that if it gets destroyed, suddenly it'll be an impossible amount of board pressure. As it is, Dusty on turn 6 decides to cast the Master of Possibilities, the Mop, and gets Ground Assault. Okay, so I mean that's just like Flagrant Foul in this case, right? Ground Assault does 1 damage for every mana gem you have. So just like that, the 4/4 is gone, and now the 4/4 I believe will block the 10-4. Okay, so I don't know why the 2/2 attacks, because the 2/2 is just gonna, die to the 4/4. But as it is, another 6 damage. So 2 turns, 12 damage going through. ExBoss is now at 12 life. Dusty is still sitting at a healthy 25, but ExBoss is only 2 mana away from getting the Kiora Titan. So let's see what happens. Okay, we got Mist Raven. So Mist Raven might be the answer to that 6/6, which undoes Relentless and requires a sacrifice to be played, right? I think it's going to attack with the 4/2, and I don't know if Dusty is going to block because whatever, you're so high in life, and you really don't want to help. Yeah, so you don't want to help Kiora reach her 10 mana goal. So that's why Dusty probably didn't block. Triggers, or rather uses Mystic Tomb, gets the Survivor's Regalia. So we got a lot of artifacts. We got Survivor's Regalia, Panharmonicon, Mystic Tomb, Sylvan Shrine. That's about 8 artifacts so far. And so it's Dusty's turn, turn 7. We didn't see the Old Graveyard trigger, but at 7 mana, we can still cast the Lilian's Goliath, and maybe, another 3 mana of the Rotting Baboon. So that's pretty much, I think, the only play going in. For the record, we do see Dusty have the Fearsome Return, and we do know that Dusty is blue splashed with the Master of Possibilities, but maybe Dusty is trying to go for, what's that guy? Alhammerit. If you give Alhammerit the Mausoleum Witch buff, it becomes a warded 3/5 creature with Relentless. Anyways, it is ExBoss now, so goes for the Primeval Titan. Might Panharmonicon, I don't know. Will you? Yes, you do. Alright, and get the Lorthos, of course. And attacked with a 3/3 flyer overhead. You can't block that. Alright, so it looks like ExBoss is now going to have more board control. And we don't see any of the black cards of Flagrant Foul, Sinister Southpaw. We don't see any of those destructive. We don't see even that 6 mana Angel that destroys a creature of power 3 or less. So Dusty is sort of lacking board control, and you can tell from his cards he's sort of going for value from the Relentless creatures, or giving Relentless to Mausoleum Witch, or Fearsome Return, which he has 2 of them, but they're not really useful at this moment because he doesn't have those gigantic creatures in the graveyard. So Dusty, I think, is just sort of going to have to play for value by blocking with Relentless creatures and then attacking them once they've triggered Relentless. At least that's what I believe, but let's see how this works. So Dusty plays the 2/2, and I believe, it gives itself Relentless. Interesting fact, actually, if you go Panharmonicon, you can actually Panharmonicon that Mausoleum Witch's debut and give 2 creatures Relentless, which sometimes people do. But anyways, it doesn't happen today. And the 2/2 Witch, I think, he's going to recycle Grotesque, so it's a 6/6 blocker. Maybe it can block the 8/5, and I don't think, so Lilian's Goliath doesn't attack. Anyways, ExBoss's turn. With only 8 life, but now with Lorthos and probably Panharmonicon. There we go. So that's plus 16 stats, random distributed. Let's see how it rolls. Okay, so we got a 16-13 Primeval Titan. I mean, that guy's got to be blocked. Maybe it's going to be blocked by the 4/3 and 5 damage overhead, but the real big threat isn't the 16-13, it's the 14-14 Trample. So that's going to come in next turn, and it's pretty much game-ending damage because, the 5 goes overhead, so that's Dusty at 15 and a 5 overhead, so Dusty needs to somehow kill the 14-14 and or the 5 HP flyer. So end of Kiora's turn, gets 1 more Sylvan Shrine buff, and has so many cards of increasing value with the Primeval Titan, the Survivor's Regalia, Blindside just in case, right? I don't want to call it, I think this might be Kiora's game because it's going to be Kiora's 2nd Titan next turn. And there's nothing Dusty can do about it, and doesn't have anything to return these creatures to hand, doesn't have anything to destroy these creatures. And we know that Dusty went blue splash, so we're looking at more master possibilities. We're looking at some that Mistraven, that 3/3 bird, to return something. But we don't see that. We don't see Flagrant Foul, there's no Sinister Southpaw, so I feel like Dusty is losing steam and just trying to block his way to survive. Can you handle? So we cannot handle that 5/5 overhead. So Dusty decides not to use Kotha Fed, so that 5/5 is going to go and make Dusty a 10. And let's see if Dusty can survive that 14 damage. So we know that's going to be bringing Dusty to 11 from the 5 mana, or from the 5/5, and 14 minus 4 is 10. So that's going to be 15 damage. No, actually, maybe the 6/6 blocks. So let's see how this works. So Blindside is going to probably destroy the 6/6. And I think that's going to be 11 damage. Yeah, there's going to be 11 damage no matter what happens. And so ExBoss uses Blindside, attacks. So he gets the second guy, gets the Arix Methes, the second Cure Titan. And let's see how Dusty decides to block. Dusty, you block the 8/4 with the 14/4. They both trade. Dusty is now at 7. Okay, Trigger's Relentless, alright. Alright, you get rid of the Primeval Titan, and now it brings you down to 2. 4 cards of Dusty versus, wow, what is it, 9? Yeah, 9 cards plus the Titan. So I think maybe the play is Arix Methes, because there's absolutely no way to deal with it. And we know that Dusty doesn't have some extremely fast hasty guys because, well, Dusty is blue splashed, and blue splashed and black cards do not have haste, at least not yet. So Dusty gets the Frost Titan, and doesn't have Panharmonicon. So if Frost Titan had Panharmonicon, it could double stun both the 5/5 and the 10/10. But as it is, Frost Titan, okay, so it blocks the 5/5, but not the 10/10. And of course the 10/10 blocks 8/4 to survive. And that's the end of Dusty's turn. And now it's going to be ExBoss's turn. ExBoss is going to go in with the 10/2 sneak, ward, reach, everything. And that's going to be game. ExBoss, do you style? Yeah, you gotta style that victory, right? So that 10/2, because it has no blockers, actually keeps its sneak buff. Doesn't matter though. Great game by ExBoss. ExBoss eliminated Dusty. So that's round 1. Good try, Dusty, on the Liliana. We had some great value plays though, with the Sylvan Shrine to gain more mana on ExBoss, and also the Mystic Tomb. So we got more card draw, and we had mana. So I think that's why ultimately it paid off. We didn't have enough pressure from the earlier mid-game from Liliana. So round 2 going in, it looks like it's going to be, this time it's ExBoss going first. I love Antler, that we can see how many, or rather the cards of both players that are being put back to be mulliganed. Anyways, Dusty, I think he's going to put back, he's going to put back Pep Talk and maybe also the Kotha Fed. I don't know, it looks like he's considering it though, because maybe at turn 6 you really want to draw that Kotha Fed. Okay. Alright. So, it looks like, so Dusty does put that back, and it's going to be ExBoss to go first, but there's nothing to play, not even Panharmonicon, so pass. Turn 1 on Dusty. Do you play Die Hard Fan? Okay, you do. But, see, I don't think that's going to be triggered, because even at 2 mana, Cure doesn't have any creatures to play. Maybe just play the artifact, Panharmonicon, and that's about it. So even though Dusty blew the mana gem, there's no immediate intrinsic value from the Die Hard. Maybe just the 3 life, just the 3 HP you're going to deal. But you have not triggered it, so regardless, Liliana's Goliath cannot come out this turn, and you cannot play anything else. So I think it might have been a misplay, but maybe Dusty was trying to gun for just more damage and board pressure. But it looks like this turn was just a waste of mana, right? 2 mana not used, and we can't play anything. Anyways, as it is ExBoss turn 3, and we have Cure's Tide Shaper, which might be, the value play. We don't really have to go the spiked Baloth, because, I mean, there's not too much board pressure, so you're not worried about Liliana's Goliath swinging in for 10 damage. Don't need to worry about it. So, Dusty, do you attack? You have 2 creatures, or rather 2 zombies. You got your Liliana's Goliath and the Recycled Grotesque. No, you don't. You played the Blood Queen Drana. But still, do you go in for the attack? You could. Although really your only creature gaining value is really your Liliana's Goliath, because you're not going to use that Recycle Grotesque because it requires a sacrifice. But as it is, he does attack, and the Liliana's Goliath and the Recycle Grotesque are -1. Alright, so ExBoss is now turn, and ExBoss, so previously we had the Tide Shaper with the Panharmonicon, that's why he's up 2 mana. Alright, plays the 4 mana 3/6 with Reach. So now the 2/3, okay, so that's Flagrant Foul number 1. 2/3 goes in, becomes a 2/5. I can do math. Becomes a 2/5, and I think that's it, yeah. So it's a Flagrant Foul used on a sort of medium level creature, not really like a Primeval Titan, nothing really like a Domri, you know, that's a big threat, but just to gain some more board pressure. And that Flagrant Foul for 4 mana and a card removal is basically just 2 damage. So I don't know, yeah, see, I don't know if that was the play. Because now we got that other 3/6 coming, and we know from previous experience that ExBoss has the Elite Forest Ranger that can just, you know, one-shot pummel the 2/5 Bloodtrana. So I don't know if that was it. But anyways, Dusty turn 5 with 5 mana. You could Mausoleum Witch the 2/5, but that leaves you with the 2 mana Recycled, which you could cast on the Mausoleum Witch itself. So you have a 2/5 Relentless. Or yeah, you could do Liliana's Goliath, right? Because it's going to have more board pressure. But then you have 2 mana, and do you trigger? I don't know if you want to trigger it. Maybe you should have at least... No, I guess not. I think you should have at least gone in for the attack, because 2/5 could have lived through the 3/6, and it would have become a 3/4, the 3/6 ready to block, and then Recycle Grotesque, so we at least do the 2 damage. Anyways, ExBoss plays the Mop. Do you pan the Mop? I guess there's going to be that commercial. But anyways, maybe that Mop gets panned. I don't know. Mop is a Mop without a pan, or a pan and pan the Mop. Alright, we get Jolt of Inspiration. Very good. So Jolt of Inspiration gives us 3 random spells, and it looks like we got some amazing game-ending board control. Silent Strike, Lava Wave, and Lightning Helix. Actually, Lightning Helix is from the pan, but anyways, we got, yeah, Lava Wave, Silent Strike, and Shadows of the Past. Those are some really board control game-ending. Can you imagine Silent Strike on a Lorthos? Or Lava Wave that is just not expecting, and it's going to do 6 damage and kill all of Liliana's creatures. None of the creatures in Liliana's hand right now have 6 HP, except for Grave Titan, which has 8. So that's the power of Lava Wave. We know Silent Strike can absolutely destroy if it's on the Lorthos, for example. Shadows of the Past can bring back all those Titans if they died, so we're looking at a lot of board pressure in the future. Anyways, as it is, Dusty plays his own Mop. Maybe Scour the Void to get some of that draw, or some of that Sylvan Shrine or Tide Shaper, just something to boost and catch up to ExBoss's mana. Alright, so we do get the Panharmonicon. Okay, so maybe we can get Panharmonicon into the Tide Shaper to catch up on mana. Maybe we get Panharmonicon into the Mausoleum Witch to double Relentless, but we'll see. Anyway, 6/3 Recycle Grotesque attacks and kills the Master Possibilities. They trade Even Stevens. My name is Steven. ExBoss's turn with 9 mana. Really looking to hopefully trigger the 10 mana next turn, but can't right now. Plays the Survivor's Regalia. What do you get? We can't see, but what do you get? Okay. Oh, we got a Chroma. Alright, so a Chroma, 9 damage. 9 mana for 8/8 flying, haste, trample, and armor. A very, very game-ending mythic. But it's not the time to play it, because we still want to maybe get to 10 mana, use some of our other littler guys, like maybe General Aldomri, before bringing out your 9 mana guy that could just get one-shotted with a Flagrant Foul or something. So Dusty's on 7 mana with a lot of cards in hand, plays the Grave Titan. Do you attack with the 4/4? I think you do, right? Yeah, because ExBoss is not going to block with that 4/4 Elvish guy. That 4/4 Elvish guy, when he gets blocked, when he attacks and gets blocked, he gives +1 mana gems, empty mana gems, to the owner of that card. So, Talarian Academy triggers, which makes, well, unfortunately ExBoss doesn't have any artifacts, so no value there. But we do see him at least using Survivor's Regalia for a second draw, and what do you get? What do you get? So right now on the board, the biggest problem is the Grave Titan. So to counter that Grave Titan, ExBoss goes in with the 4/4 and casts the Achroma. 4/4 is probably going to get blocked by the 8/8, And of course, the 8/8 Acroma overhead will go and do damage to Dusty, bringing him down to, no matter what, 18. But I honestly don't know if Acroma is the best answer. I mean, it is one of the answers, but the problem with doing that is if in case Dusty has, you know, a Sinister Southpaw, or another Flagrant Foul or something, it can just sort of one-shot that Acroma. And that's the risk you take with playing these big mana mythics that look like a big threat but can be taken out in one shot. Ooh, Dusty's old graveyard triggers to give the that 2-mana 4/4 guy. Okay, so Dusty gets so again, that's the power of Frost Titan. There's only one enemy, so it freezes it, and just like that, ExBoss eats a ton of damage, and in one turn is down to 9 HP. So that was a ton of damage. That was 14 damage in a single turn. Well done. So Blindside kills the 8/8 Titan, and Lava Wave kills the entire board, and that was the jolt of inspiration that is basically bringing ExBoss back into the game. If he didn't have that, I think it would have been game. But right now, because he had that, right now Dusty is on a 2-turn, or rather 3-turn timer, because in 3 turns, he knows, at least currently his board, cannot destroy the 8/8 Acroma, so in 3 turns, it's game over. Unless he has Sinister Southpaw, or yeah, can block the 8/8 into Oblivion, but right now it doesn't look like it, right? So ExBoss has the Eric's Methes. Do you play that at 12 mana? Because that only leaves you with a Sylvan Shrine. So maybe you can do the 8 damage and kill the 4/7, and then play your Eric's Methes, but then your guy will die to the 10/4. So maybe you need a chump blocker for the 10/4. Maybe you could do Shadows of the Past, have a board full of stuff. You could even do Acroma, or my apologies, you can even do Arcanus, but Arcanus needs 5 mana to cast Mind Control or whatever spell you get, and it might not even be Mind Control, so you might be down some creatures, so it might not be worth that risk. You know what? ExBoss says let's use Sneak, and does 10 damage overhead, chances the Arcanus. So I think the play is he is going to have the 10/8 Acroma, block the 10/4, use the 5/5 to block maybe the 4/7 or the 4/4, probably block the 4/4, right, because it'll do 4 damage to Dusty himself. So Dusty can't attack with the 4/4, but might attack with the 10/4. Again, Dusty is on a timer. Next turn, he will die to... Okay, he uses Jolt of Inspiration, but he has 5 mana. Yeah, not enough mana to cast the Lava Wave. And so it looks like he's going to live for 1 more turn. At least in Dusty's eyes, he might live for 1 more turn because the 4/7 is going to block the 10 damage Acroma, but we know that Kiora has the concealing sneak 5 mana thing. So actually the real answer is Dusty has to instantly eliminate the 10/8, but he doesn't have the mana and he doesn't have the card for it, so I think that's actually game. But Dusty is trying to make the decision here. Yeah, so he's gonna draw a Grave Titan, has 3 mana left over, maybe plays a Tide Shaper, maybe plays a Pep Talk or the Muslin. No, he just passes. I think he knows what's happening. Yeah, so we get the Concealing Arcana. No, we don't get Concealing. Okay. Well, I mean, if we did get Concealing Arcana, it's kind of game over, right? With the 10 damage overhead. But hopefully ExBoss can see that. But he has 13 mana, so he's allowed to make... Okay, so he plays General Darmy. Alright, so I think now ExBoss sees it. Concealing Arcana goes in for the 15 damage. And just like that, that's game over. So well done, ExBoss. You've eliminated Dusty. Dusty, well played. Good try. We got some good plays today. So ExBoss, you go into the next, I think it's the finals. So we'll see you in the next one. If you guys liked what you saw or heard today, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.